Hey, what's up guys? Boba Fetty Wap here, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, if you didn't get that from my entire channel already. I'm so much a Star Wars fan that I've been watching the movies for as long as I can remember, and I've continued to watch every new movie that came out, every TV show that came out on opening night without missing a beat. And I'm so much so a Star Wars fan that even for my 6th birthday party, it was Star Wars themed and made PBC R2-D2s and had lightsaber duels with pool noodles. So safe to say it was the best day of my life. Now, of course, right now, if you're involved in the Star Wars universe, you kind of know that there's been a big problem going on. There's a big split in the fan base right now concerning the recent trilogies that have been brought out in series by Disney. I, for one, kind of like that Disney has bought Star Wars. It brought back that old nostalgia of the Star Wars vibe and no longer have to feel like a closeted nerd being obsessed with Star Wars because basically everyone is in that Star Wars craze right now. I honestly loved Rogue One. I loved the Solo movie. And I also have loved what they've done with the Star Wars Clone Wars series and the finale. I love what they're doing with The Mandalorian right now. The biggest thing I have a problem with was their own original trilogy. I think this trilogy suffered a lot from, I know they had a director change and all, but still, there was no concrete story. Some characters were left in the dust that were so cool and such had awesome potential, but ended up amounting to nothing. The characters at the end kind of didn't make sense on where their final path was. Palpatine came back out of nowhere because they had no idea what else to do with the story. And I feel like they were in this mix between doing their own trilogy, but also trying to redo the original trilogy. So I took it upon myself over quarantine that I thought, hey, you know what? Everyone's complaining about it. I'm going to give my input. So I am starting a series right now where I will be rewriting the Star Wars sequel trilogy. And by rewriting, I mean I'm basically editing. I'm going to use basically the same skeletal structure and most of the same material that the movies produce, but I'm going to give my advice on what they could have done better with them. You know, I feel like even though the storyline was kind of similar to the original trilogy, I feel like there's some elements that they definitely could have put more emphasis on, and some things like, I don't know, Canto Bright, that definitely were not necessary at all. If this sounds familiar to anyone, it's because I have a TikTok page where I've already edited the sequel trilogies and I'm on to make my own original trilogy, so go hit that up if you guys would like. But I've been recommended by many people to compile all my videos in kind of one spot and make a YouTube channel, so that's what I'm doing here. So sorry that the format looks a little weird in my videos and you kind of have to hold your phone vertically because that's how I filmed it for TikTok, so that's how I'm going to have it be for the majority of the YouTube videos. Alright, without further ado, I'm going to give my input on The Force Awakens. I honestly like The Force Awakens. You know, the first time I saw it in theaters, I was super excited for a new Star Wars movie. And after seeing it, even though it was similar to A New Hope, I still was excited for where it was going to take the trilogy. And as I said, for the majority of my edits to the sequel trilogy, I'm going to have it majority the same. The same goes for Force Awakens. Most of this movie I will keep the same except for a couple elements. To start off, I'll be changing a couple things about the First Order. The basis for this group will be that they're the remaining Empire extremists, and their name will now be the Final Order, based on how they're following Palpatine's final order to wipe out all the remaining Jedi. Being remaining Empire troops, they'll not have a lot of firepower, and only be about 20 or so Star Destroyers strong, because it makes no sense how much firepower they had in the original sequels, so they're more spread thin, making the destruction of Starkiller Base much more of a blow, and sets up how the Empire's fleet from Episode 9 will be their saving grace. The Starkiller Base Death Star ripoff will also not fire a single blast that spits into 5 lasers. That's just dumb and stupid writing. Instead, it will fire 5 blasts individually, 1 for each planet, like a burst rifle. Also, instead of just painting a red line on the TIE fighter, I propose a more different design with these wing flaps here that can fold for easier landing, making the Final Order TIE fighters much more distinct. Now to what I think they should have done for The Force Awakens. One scene I think should be added is showing Poe alive after the crash, or at least some explanation, because it was just odd to suddenly see him alive on Takodana flying in an X-Wing. The final battle between Kylo and Rey should be changed, that way Rey doesn't beat him on lightsaber combat, but instead by force pushing him onto a falling part of the world, to emphasize how she's strong with the Force and not some legend with the saber already. And then Ren can say something about how she fought not like a Jedi, something more dark and ruthless, to tease the idea of how Rey might be evil earlier on. And then also the 2 map idea is stupid. It's space. You don't need a map to a planet, you just need to know the planet's name. So BB-8 will hold on to the only map to Luke, no R2-D2 intervention necessary. Rose should also show up in this movie from time to time, so that way she doesn't suddenly appear in The Last Jedi and be one of the main characters. I think it'd be a lot cooler if they showed a lot more of the New Republic that was formed, you know, like Leia would call in and check in a couple times, be like, hey, First Order, or in my version, the Final Order, is like pretty powerful. You guys should take care of it. And then they're going to be like, no, it's not a big deal, or we don't have enough resources, or just something to show that the New Republic, you know, why they were so easy to wipe out, because they're so ineffective. And another thing is that I think that the Republic transporter in The Force Awakens is absolute garbage. That is the most basic design I've ever seen in my entire life. Instead, use this really cool, like, Lego came out with a really cool Republic transporter, and I think that should be used instead. So there you go. Those are my edits to The Force Awakens, and after a bit, I'll be releasing the TikTok videos I made about my edits to The Last Jedi. As with any other YouTube video out there, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you like the content. Hope to see you back soon.